Hey there, toy and collector fans, this is Flat Guy for TekSushi.com and also for DorksideToys.com. I'm going to give you a look today at Robocop 3 by NECA. This guy is a beast of a figure, tons of accessories, lots to go through. Let's get a look at the packaging first of all. Now the packaging is not something you can really collect in this line. It's one of those incredibly solid, really impenetrable packages that kind of sucks, quite frankly. Not really one you can display. This is not a vintage card back, which is a shame. If this guy had been put into a box, it just would have been a little bit better, and you could have kept the packaging. But as such, you've got to slice this thing with a knife. It does have this nice Robocop piece down at the bottom, and on the back of the figure there, it's basically Robocop's armor and the Robocop 3 logo up at the top. On the back of it, you'll get to see some of the differences you can have with this figure, and that is the Cobra assault cannon, a little bit of G.I. Joe there, Yo-Joe, removable jetpack, which is awesome, it's very detailed, and this interchangeable left forearm, which is again very, very cool on this figure. This is basically a repaint of the existing, and I've reviewed it already on our channel here at TekSushi.com, is the opening spring-loaded holster, which I just find is a pain. It's very hard to do, I think. I don't think it's as slick as NECA point out there, but it does have that, so we won't go into the detail of it today because it's just a pain to get that blaster in and out, but it does have it. So you get an extra weapon as well there, so you can store the blaster rifle inside his leg. And that's it. Now let's get a look at the figure. In fact, let's start with some of the weapons first of all, because there's lots to get through. So this is the huge Cobra assault weapon here, and it's jam-packed. In fact, I've dropped one of the pieces here, so it's around here somewhere. But you'll see it has a little stock part that comes down in just a second. But beautifully done. There's some nice detail on this guy. It's solid black, but there's almost like a little bit of a wash over it, a little bit of scraping, and which makes it look very, very nice as well on the sniper rifle. And there's a stock. One must have dropped off here in the bag somewhere, but that I've had. But it locks down, and the stock comes up and down, so you can see that being it's allowed to stand as such. So there's another one missing somewhere, but we'll get a look at that at some point. And there we go. Good looking weapon. Now you also get the inside his leg, you get the standard Robocop blaster, which we've seen many times before. Let me focus on that. So again, not a great deal of detail really going on here. It's pretty simple stuff. He holds it well though. No chrome, no additions or any other kind of detail, but it's fairly well sculpted and looks the part, I think. And the other weapon is this great piece, which is part of an interswappable arm here, interchangeable arm. So you get one standard kind of Robocop hand with it, but you can also swap it out for this huge looking weapon here, and this is nicely detailed. A little bit of weathering going on, a little bit of detail on the weapon itself. Looks very, very slick in this machine gun clip here. So this is one of my favorites. Looks very good. You do not want to mess with that. So that's the other weapon you get with that. Now we also have this jetpack, which if you hold Robocop, if I can hold him for a second, sits on his shoulders, and if you swap out his other arm, it allows you to then use the controls and let him grip and hold them. I'm going to take this off so we can just see underneath it, but the fingers are pretty flexible and the jetpack's pretty flexible in parts, so there is a fair amount of movement that allows you to do that, but it's very well detailed underneath. And here we go. Look at the detail on this sucker. This thing's incredible. So a very, very slick looking kind of pile of controls and details in there. All those little switches and buttons. It's a rather cool looking part. Considering the figure generally will have its back on this figure and most people will never get to see it, it's pretty well detailed and displayed. So lots of little gears and switches and cables, and love it. Love all that detail. Whoops. So he sits on his shoulders pretty well, and even underneath there, I mean, check this out. This is well done. Little bits of yellow done there underneath that, and the weathering and the sculpting. It's beautiful. It's really, really well done. Even red paint under there. Let's flip right to the back of it. And again, all the little different tonal shadings being done there, different paints being applied. It's very, very good. Even little bits that look like screws and parts. It's very well done indeed. And even down to the front there with a little safety kind of yellow and black signs there. Just adds that nice little touch. Now these pieces here at the back are actually articulated. You can see the ball joint, and that allows them to bend and move around and grip Robocop's hands in whatever position you've got, or just drop back and just not have them positioned at all. So very cool looking piece nonetheless. Let's get a look at Robocop himself. So this is a repainted version again of that spring-loaded kind of classic Robocop that NECA have had out many times, but he's very good. And again, if you want to buy this, he's in stock right now, $23.99 at the time of doing this video. Direct link underneath, and it will take you to dorksidetoys.com, and just head to the Robocop section, and you can pick this sucker up. He looks great, but he's repainted from the previous version. You'll see some of the previous ones we have on stock. So this is a much more blue version than the original, kind of fairly tonal light silver, but I think much more accurate to the film with this colour. Really beautiful paint. The camera's probably not picking up too much, but there's a real purple overtone. You can see it a little bit more at the back of the head there. The kind of bluish, coppery metal colour. It's just beautifully done. Again, camera's not doing it justice. All the way down, the great sculpting of the black suit that he's got underneath. Just great. It looks really good. One of the best figures NECA have done, without a doubt. Hence why I think they've released it several times. And that great looking gun with that swappable hand. And down to the legs, there's that spring-loaded feature. We're just not going to go there. I can't stand it. And down to the pistons at the back. And you'll even see these little pistons, if I could get it working right, there we go, actually work. How cool is that? So that's a really nice piece done by, I mean, that's, for a 6-inch toy, that's phenomenal. So really good job done by NECA. So it's beautifully sculpted, beautifully detailed. The articulation's a little bit limited on this figure because of the armor on the way. Is a little bit stiff to move around, but not too bad. Overall, we start up at the top with Murphy's head, and it spins round. There's a little bit of movement back and forth. So it's on this kind of peg that swivels, so you got a fair bit of movement going on there. The armor here limits the movement on the shoulders very much, so there's not a great deal of movement. You can just see underneath that ball joint with the hinge, but it's a little comical that that's as far as it can kind of go, really. Not a great deal else going on. Back and forth moves a little bit, so there's a little bit of flexibility on that section there. But otherwise, that's it. On the shoulders, you'll see there's a join at the back there, kind of movie accurate. He was very stiff as a robot anyway, and you'll see that's as far as the movement can go. And that's as far as the movement can go at the front, so he doesn't even have a kind of a 45-degree angle. It's kind of limited. And you do get these swivel gauntlets there, which allows some movement. The waist has some limited, again, articulation there to swivel back and forth, but we do have, it's a little stiff to move around. In fact, it's incredibly stiff to move around, but it does have a swivel waist, and you can see the swivel torso as well, so there's a fair bit of movement going on there. The legs, again, are limited. You'll see the movement in the ball joints just in there, so you're really not going to be going too far with this guy in terms of poses. He is a bit limited, although you can move them back and forth a fair deal. On the legs, same kind of deal as the arms. You'll literally get the legs back that far, so you can do a little dainty kick there at the back, and that's about it. Pretty limited. And he rocks forward. Now you do get ball jointed hinge on the ankles, and there's a fair bit of movement on them actually. They really do move quite a bit, but they're not actually, they're just hinged. They're not actually ball jointed. My bad. So limited articulation, but still for Robocop, and he was supposed to be fairly robotic. Not bad at all. So as I said, this guy is in stock right now, $23.99 at the time of doing it. Click a link directly underneath, and if you like these reviews, click subscribe and you'll get them straight into your inbox. But I'd love to know your thoughts on Robocop 3, better than the original Robocop. We're still waiting to get hold of the battle damage version, which still hasn't arrived as yet. It's expected in November. But this guy's good. He's my favourite in terms of the paint design, and those extras in this epic jet backpack is really worth it. You're getting a ton of plastic here with some great looking sculpting and detailing, so definitely want to recommend picking up. Indeed. Again, that's it. We'll see you for another review coming up soon.